You open your eyes to pitch blackness. The air bites at your bare skin. Your stomach tightens with a deep, gnawing emptiness. You reach out for comfort, but your fingers brush against cold, damp earth. Could you survive the next 24 hours? For the vast majority of human history, this was not a thought experiment. This was the only reality your body knew. Roughly 12,000 years ago, around the year 10,000 BC, your ancestors woke up to this exact sensation every single morning. The world was vast. The world was indifferent. And the world demanded your calories just to let you see another sunrise. Today, you will step back into that world. Your morning routine does not involve a shower or a cup of coffee. Your morning routine is immediate, physical labor. You stand up, and your joints ache. This is not the mild stiffness of sleeping in an awkward position on a soft mattress. This is the deep, structural wear and tear of a life lived entirely on foot. Paleopathologist Dr. Alice Roberts has spent her career examining the skeletal remains of early humans from this exact period. When she looks at the bones of hunter-gatherers, she does not see carefree wanderers in a pristine Eden. She sees joint degradation, stress fractures, and severe osteoarthritis. Your skeleton in 10,000 BC tells a story of relentless, repetitive physical trauma. Why did they push themselves so hard? Because every calorie was a negotiation with death. You step out of your temporary shelter into the dawn light. The landscape around you is not a park. It is a dense, chaotic wilderness that you must read like a book. You do not have shoes with arch support. You have calluses thick enough to act as leather soles, built up over decades of stepping on jagged rocks and hidden thorns. Every step requires hyper-awareness. A twisted ankle today does not mean a trip to the emergency room. A twisted ankle means you cannot forage, you cannot keep up with your group, and you become a liability. You feel a sudden pang of hunger. You cannot open a refrigerator. You must walk. You join a small group of your peers, spreading out across the terrain to scan for food. The romantic idea of the ancient world focuses heavily on big game hunting, epic battles with massive beasts. The reality of your daily survival is much quieter and far more tedious. You spend hours digging in the hard dirt for tubers. You strip bark from specific trees. You gather wild seeds and nuts, constantly scanning the brush for movement. Every tool you use must be made by your own hands. You sit by a rocky outcrop, striking a piece of flint with a harder stone. This process is known as flint knapping. It requires intense concentration and an intuitive understanding of physics. You must strike the stone at the exact right angle to flake off a razor-sharp edge. One wrong strike, and the stone shatters uselessly. You spend hours meticulously crafting a single scraper to clean animal hides. The hides are crucial. The weather is unpredictable, and a sudden drop in temperature combined with rain can lead to hypothermia within hours. You do not have waterproof synthetic fabrics. You have the heavy, stiff skins of the animals you have hunted. You use bone needles and animal sinew to stitch them together. It is exhausting, repetitive labor that demands your full attention. How long could you maintain this focus? This diet of tough, fibrous plant matter takes a massive toll on your body. In the Levant region of the Middle East, archaeologists have uncovered the remains of the Natufian culture, a group of humans living exactly around 10,000 BC. They were among the very first humans to begin settling down and heavily processing wild grains. When researchers examine Natufian skulls, they find something that shatters the myth of perfect ancient health. They find severe dental wear and early signs of tooth decay. Processing those wild grains required grinding them with stone tools. Fine stone grit mixed into their daily meals, slowly acting like sandpaper on their teeth with every bite. You chew your morning meal, and you feel that grit grinding down your enamel. As the sun climbs higher, the heat becomes oppressive. You are sweating profusely. This is actually your superpower. Humans are not the strongest, fastest, or most heavily armored creatures in this landscape. But thanks to millions of sweat glands and hairless skin, your body is an unparalleled cooling system. You can outlast almost any animal on Earth in a marathon under the scorching sun. You track an animal for miles, following faint impressions in the dirt and disturbed blades of grass. The prey is faster than you in a sprint. But it cannot sweat like you. You follow it until it collapses from heat exhaustion. This is persistence hunting. It is a triumph of endurance. But it leaves you utterly drained. Now you must process the food. This brings you to the single most important technology in human history. Fire. You do not have a lighter. You do not have matches. You have a wooden drill, a hearth board, and the burning friction of your own exhausted muscles. You spin the drill until your palms blister. Smoke finally curls into the air. You nurse the tiny ember with dry tinder and gentle breaths. Harvard primatologist Dr. Richard Wrangham argues that this exact moment, the mastery of fire, is what truly made us human. In his foundational thesis on human evolution, he explains that cooking food unlocks massive amounts of hidden calories. Raw meat and tough roots require immense energy just to digest. Cooking pre-digests the food outside of your body. This sudden surplus of calories is what allowed your ancestors to grow the massive, energy-hungry brains you possess today. You eat the cooked meat, and you feel the life force returning to your muscles. But the day is far from over. You stop at a stream to drink. The water looks perfectly clear, babbling over smooth stones. But the microscopic world is hostile. The water is teeming with unseen parasites and bacteria. Your immune system is constantly battling infections that modern medicine would cure with a single pill. You drink, knowing that a simple case of dysentery can rapidly dehydrate you and lead to a painful, quiet death. There are no intravenous fluids here. You are constantly surrounded by threats, and the most dangerous ones are not large predators. The counterintuitive twist of ancient survival is that the mundane things were the deadliest. You walk through tall grass and feel a sharp scratch on your leg from a branch. You brush it off. In your modern life, this is nothing. In 10,000 BC, that simple scratch is a roll of the dice. Without antibiotics, a minor staph infection can spread through your bloodstream in days. A simple cut can slowly swell, turn black, and end your life before your 30th birthday. The real killer of ancient humans was not the saber-toothed cat. It was microscopic bacteria. It was a tooth abscess that traveled to the brain. It was childbirth. Survival was a game of dodging invisible bullets every single day. Your tribe consists of maybe 30 to 50 people. You know every single detail about every person. You know their habits, their smells, their moods, and their reliability. There are no secrets in a hunter-gatherer band. Resources are pooled, and hoarding is deeply frowned upon. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner, studying modern hunter-gatherer societies, has documented how vital this egalitarian sharing is for survival. When someone has a successful hunt, the meat is distributed. You share your food today because tomorrow you might fail, and you will rely on the success of others. This is the original safety net. Your status is not determined by what you own, but by what you give away. As night falls, the temperature plummets. The darkness is absolute. The psychological weight of the night in 10,000 BC is hard for a modern mind to grasp. You sit huddled close to the fire. The fire is the only thing keeping the unknown at bay. Beyond the ring of light, you hear the snapping of twigs. You hear low growls. You are not at the top of the food chain here. You are a soft, fleshy target in a world of specialized killers. This is why you never sleep alone. Your survival depends entirely on your group. Solitary confinement in the modern prison system is a severe punishment. In 10,000 BC, being alone is a death sentence. You rely on your tribe to keep watch, to share food, and to care for you if you fall ill. The profound social anxiety you feel today, the desperate need to fit in and be liked, is a direct inheritance from this campfire. For your ancestors, social rejection meant being cast out into the dark. Your brain still reacts to a delayed text message with the same chemical panic as a prehistoric human being exiled from the tribe. You finally lie down to sleep. You do not sleep for 8 uninterrupted hours. Your sleep is fragmented. You wake up every few hours to check the fire, to listen to the sounds of the night, to ensure your group is safe. This pattern of segmented sleep was the default human condition for millennia. The modern expectation of a solid block of unconsciousness is a very recent invention. Your body is a masterpiece of prehistoric engineering. Your stress responses, your fat storage, your hypervigilance, and your social needs were all perfectly calibrated to keep you alive in the brutal, beautiful world of 10,000 BC. Yet today, you inhabit a completely different reality. You carry an ancient body into a digital age. You sit in a climate-controlled room. You stare at a glowing screen.